Hello, I'd like to give you all the information that you need for the protest in London in August, the biggest ex-Jehovah's Witness protest, I hope, that there's ever been, protecting Jehovah's Witness children and other people that might be vulnerable within the religion. So first of all, the dates. We are protesting over 2 weekends because the London Convention is split over 2 weekends, and that's the Saturday the 11th and Sunday the 12th of August, and then Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th of August. There will be organisers there on all 4 of those dates. However, we're hoping that the biggest impact will be on Saturday the 11th. So if you have a choice and you only want to come along for one day, please make it Saturday the 11th. If you're able to come along for more than one day, that's fantastic. If you can't come along for the first weekend, please do come along for the second weekend, because we will all be there again. And of course, we'll be more polished and we'll know what we're doing. Okay, the times. I will put in the link below an itinerary of the day and how it will look. So there will be organisers there from probably about 8 o'clock in the morning each day. Maybe not Sunday, we might be up a bit later on Sunday, but that won't be the main body of the protest. I have to apply for specific times and dates when we protest, and I'll tell you what those times are. So if you arrive in the morning, that will be discreet, quiet activism, such as talking one-to-one to people, maybe putting leaflets round about the area, or just getting a lie of the land and seeing what it looks like. The main body of the protest will be from 12 o'clock noon until 2 o'clock. That covers the lunchtime when Jehovah's Witnesses will be out and about and milling around. From 2 o'clock till 4:30, I would suggest that that's the time when you might want to get yourself some lunch, grab a coffee. If you want to carry on doing some activism but not protesting, I will have printed off 1,000 leaflets, and you'll be able to take those and maybe speak to general members of the public. The leaflets are aimed at members of the public, not at Jehovah's Witnesses, and they look like this. Not as big, again they'll be A6 size, but I've printed them off big. That's the front, and that will be the back. You can't read it, but I'll put that in the link below. So if you want to do some unwitnessing discreetly to people, please take those leaflets and do that. There are 2 train access stations to the Excel Arena, and it would be really nice if people would take some of those leaflets and maybe put them on the tube stations and on the train lines up and down those 2 access lines. The other place that we can leaflet is in the car park in the Excel Arena, and what I would suggest, I know, look, leaflets can be quite expensive things to produce, so you wouldn't want to necessarily put them on people's windscreens, because you know that the witnesses are just going to take them off and throw them away. But if you are coming driving to the Excel Arena and you're going to park in that car park, and it's £20 a day for a 24-hour period, I would suggest that you decorate the inside of your car with leaflets and banners and posters and balloons and anything else that advertises what you want to advertise for the protest, so that witnesses, again, that are coming and parking up, and lots of them do, will have to walk past your cars. I think that's what I'll be doing, because I will be driving and parking up there. So then at 4:30 to 5:30, I'm going to apply again for us to have an hour's protest, because that is the time when the witnesses will be leaving the convention space and going home, either via the car park or the 2 tube stations. And so again, we will have a main protest where people stand with banners at that point. So 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock, 4:30 till 5:30, and we'll be meeting on the western concourse outside the Excel Arena, and I will have applied for permission to do that, and I will have also notified the police, which I've sent emails off today to do. Of course, that means that our behaviour has to be to the standard of a protest. It's not a march, so we won't be moving. We're not allowed to block people's way, or else the police will remove us and we'll be gone. We will be able to stand stationary with our banners and speak respectfully to people. And it's important, really, because I am applying, probably in my name, for permission to have this protest. It's important that everybody behaves in the ethos of the day, please, because I will ask police to remove people that are getting agitated, shouty, angry, upset. That's not what we're there for. Now, I would like some really good visual displays. So one of the things that I think would make a really good visual is if people brought along pairs of flip-flops. A pair of flip-flops, because it's a great joke on flip-flopping doctrine from Jehovah's Witnesses, but a pair of flip-flops to represent a person that you feel you would like to have represented at the protest, and we will lay them all out together. You need to bring them along. I can't buy all these flip-flops. I can buy a pair of flip-flops for myself, but if we want a big display, I need people to bring them along. And what I'd like is either I will bring Sharpie pens along, but either you write on the flip-flops or you create an A4 laminated poster that says who the flip-flops represent and for what reason. So it might be somebody that has been shunned and is not allowed to speak to the mother and father again, and you would put that. You don't have to put their name if you don't want to. You could just put person X, or son of so-and-so, or son shunned because of. It might be somebody that's died because of the blood doctrine. We know there are people that have done that, so you might want to put the name of that person and that they died for refusing blood. It might be that somebody has been a victim of child sexual abuse, or a victim of domestic abuse, or a victim of any other of one of the awful policies that Jehovah's Witnesses are forced to follow. And I would like you to put that information by the flip-flops or on the flip-flops written in a Sharpie, so that people passing by can look and read and go, oh look, this pair is for somebody who died because they refused to take blood. This pair is for somebody who was an abuse victim. This pair is for somebody who their own mother and father isn't speaking to them anymore because of the shunning. I think that will make a really good visual, especially if we had lots and lots of shoes laid out. It's very poignant seeing empty shoes, and flip-flops are quite cheap. If you don't want to bring a whole pair of flip-flops along, perhaps you could print off a picture of a pair of flip-flops on an A4 sheet and lay that out. That would be a simple way of doing it. Another thing that I want as a visual is a story wall. And I'm going to bring along coloured paper and post-it notes and pens and Sharpies for people to write their story, and maybe we can pin them somewhere. If we can't pin them on a public wall because it would be counted as, I don't know, vandalism, I will bring along a big board or poster of some description that we can pin these onto, because again it's a really good visual and people need to be heard. And I recognise that a protest, although your banner is red, your voice may not be heard by people. And I think if you were able to write your story, however brief it is, I am being shunned by my mother and father, I have lost my children because they no longer speak to me because they're Jehovah's Witnesses. Whatever your brief story is, your voice can be heard via a story wall, and people will come up. It's attractive. We'll bring lots of coloured sheets of paper and they'll read it and they'll get a sense of why we are protesting. So, to conclude, we're meeting outside the western end of the Edexcel Arena in London, London Docklands, and the address is on the invite, and that is on the 11th and 12th of August 2018 and the 18th and 19th of August 2018. In the periods when we are protesting, between 12 and 2 o'clock and 4:30 and 5 o'clock, when that'll have the biggest impact, we can have our banners out and our posters and whatever else we want. In the periods when we are not able to protest, because that's not the times that I've requested with the council, you can put all those banners and things into my room. I've got a hotel right on the Edexcel site, and so has a colleague of mine. You can put all that stuff in our hotel rooms, and then you can come and get it again for the protest, so you don't have to be thinking, oh, what the hell do I do with this banner? In the periods in between the lunchtime and tea time protest, please feel free to grab some lunch and a coffee and to do some discreet unwitnessing and to take some leaflets and to speak to members of the public, because part of what we're doing is inoculating people. We are getting attention. We're not just trying to get witnesses to wake up. In fact, I suspect that we won't get witnesses to wake up really, but we are giving the public a message that they're not just a nice group of people. They're a nice group of people trapped in a set of very dangerous policies and practices, and hopefully we'll have lots of media attention on the day as well. So if you want to send the invite to any journalists that you've ever spoken to before, then please do. Let's get this protest as public as possible. And just to reassure you, so far we've got people coming from lots of different countries. So the meetup at the end of the day will be at the Fox at Excel, which is a pub on the site, Warehouse K, at the Excel Centre to Western Gateway, London. And it looks like a nice big venue. And if you don't want to come to the protest because you don't want to protest, but you'd like to meet all the people that have come along from all those other countries, please come along in the evening and meet up. And that'll be the Saturday the 11th and Saturday the 18th. We'll have that meet up there, and you can come along and meet people. So even if you don't want to protest, or you're working and you can't, or it's not your thing, you don't want to be seen publicly, please do come along to the evening to meet people. If you want to protest but you can't be seen because it's really important that your family don't find out, please do come along in disguise. Please wear a hat and glasses, a wig, a kind of a facial mask and glasses, the little bandana things. Please come along in disguise, with your face disguised, because it will make a massive impact on people, that this cult is so dangerous that people cannot be seen in case they lose their families. So I would encourage you, even if you don't want to be seen, to come along anyway, but in some kind of a disguise. And we will support you, and we will make sure that your voice is heard either through the story wall or through the banners. And thank you very much for supporting the JW protest this year.